Hello everyone, welcome to my shop and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video I'm going to be doing a front sway bar install on my R35 GTR, getting ready for the track season. What I'm going to be installing, I've got an Eibach front sway bar. It comes with the bar, some bushings, some instructions and some grease, as well as some Whiteline front end links, some adjustable end links. Car's already in the air. First step's going to be getting wheels and tires off and getting the under tray off. The only under tray that you really need to get off is the center one here, the one that you would normally do for an oil change. So I'm going to go ahead and pull those off, and then we'll go ahead and get started. To do this install, you're going to need, other than obviously a jack and jack stands or a lift, probably going to want an impact wrench to help get the old equipment off, get your wheels and tires off. You're going to need a 14 millimeter to get the sway bar off. You're going to need a 17 millimeter to get the end links off. Probably going to need a universal as well to get around the tie rod. A couple extensions. If you're reusing factory end links, you need a 17 millimeter wrench and a 6 millimeter Allen key. If you're using the Whiteline, you'll need a 19. You're probably going to need a crescent wrench for tightening the jam nut on the end link. You're also going to need a torque wrench, probably a ratchet and some assorted sockets, a 14 millimeter for tightening the sway bar back on, and then a screwdriver or a body panel to remove the under tray. Wheels and tires are now off, as well as the center under tray. Because I am not going to be reusing these end links, I'm not even going to bother removing the link from the sway bar. I'm just going to remove it straight from the lower control arm here. This is a 17 millimeter hex for that, and then to remove the bar itself, there are two 14 millimeter nuts to remove the bar itself. So I'm going to go ahead and grab an impact and knock all these fasteners off and remove the bar, and then we'll go ahead and compare the new versus old and work on getting the new one put in. Sway bar is removed from the car. One quick thing to note: watch your head when those come off. I had one of them drop and land in my lap. So the new Eibach bar is here, and the new Whiteline end links are here. The Eibach bar has two different settings. I'm going to start out on the stiffest setting because that helps. It's supposed to help reduce oversteer, and this car's got plenty of power in the rear, so it has a tendency to slip around on me. One good thing to note: the factory bushings on this were completely toast. These things are hard. This one's almost cracked all the way through, so it's a good thing that the Eibach one includes these new urethane bushings. So I'm going to go ahead and use some of this supplied silicone grease. I do highly recommend using some latex gloves or some kind of glove to install this. This stuff is super sticky and is really hard to wash off. So you want to get a really good coating inside of both bushings and a little bit on the outside of the bushing here that'll ride on the inside of this. So I'm going to go ahead and get those greased up, get them on the bar. Do take note that the bushing goes on the outside of these locking collars on both sides, just like the factory bar does. And then as far as the end links go, you want to set these about the same length as your factory ones. So I've gone ahead and done that and just snugged up this locking nut. It's not tight yet. I'm going to wait till I get it on the car and just verify that they're in the same orientation as the factory one is, so that it'll go in a little bit easier. So I'm going to go ahead, as I said, grease these up, get them on the bar, and then I'm going to work on getting it reinstalled in the car. Got the bar assembled, the bushings greased and everything, and the clamps on. So at this point, it's just a matter of bolting it back up to the car. Got a couple of, just got to make sure that everything lines up. Hold it in place, get a couple nuts on just to make sure that everything kind of stays in place. Tightening torque on these is 37 foot-pounds, so I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of these nuts on, tighten them up, and torque them to 37 foot-pounds, and then I'll be right back. The bar is now torqued in place at 37 foot-pounds. I'm going to work on getting the links installed now. Whiteline includes 8 washers, and they want you to put one on either side of the bar and one on either side of the control arm here. So I'm going to go ahead and get the first one on and just snug the nut up a little bit. These are clamp nuts, so you can only get them so tight by hand. Now I'm going to take this off. So I am seeing a problem here with Whiteline's instructions. Then the stud on the back of this link looks like it's going to be a little too short to try and use 2 washers plus the nut. So I'm going to leave that nut off. It is a flange nut, so I'm not too worried about the sealing face, but you definitely are going to want the washer on the front side. So I'm just going to go ahead and just use the nut here. I'm not entirely sure why this stud is so short, but from a tightening standpoint, the nuts are 19 millimeter, and you need a 6 millimeter Allen key to counter hold. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a 19 millimeter wrench, tighten these up, and then I'm going to use a crowfoot on my torque wrench to go ahead and torque. Torque spec on these is 73 foot-pounds, so these are significantly tighter than the rear. But yeah, I'm going to go grab a 19 millimeter box end wrench and get these tightened on, and then I'll go ahead and do the other side. So. At this point, I've got all the nuts torqued to 73 foot-pounds. So the last step in setting these up is there's a jam nut here, and you just need to tighten this down. I'm just going to grab this with a crescent wrench. This is a 17 millimeter. So you just need to hold. You do want to make sure that this is parallel to the arm and this is parallel to the bar. You don't want to tighten this down and force it into a position where you don't have enough travel. So just going to tighten this down. So this just needs to be good and tight so that this doesn't come loose. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of the other side, and then we'll talk about wrapping things up. So that's it. The front sway bars are very easy to install, probably only 30 minutes once you get the car up in the air. It's a lot easier than the rear because you don't have to snake it around the exhaust. So at this point, it's a matter of putting the under tray back on, reinstalling the wheels and tires. I'm going to leave mine off because I got some more work to do, but thanks for tuning in. I'm going to link to the rear install at the end of this video, and I'll link to the front install at the end of that video. So please like, subscribe, check out my channel. I'm going to have some other install videos, and then soon here we're going to be getting this thing back out on the track. Thanks again for tuning in.